ये आकाशवाणी जयपुर अजमेर का आमिर चैनल है। मीडियम वेव 497.51 मीटर यानी 603 किलोहर्ट्ज़ और एफएम बैंड 101.2 मेगाहर्ट्ज़ पर। सवेरे के 8:45 हुए हैं। आइए अब सुनते हैं इंग्लिश प्रोग्राम विजन एंड वॉइस। इसमें सुनिए आज टॉक हाउ टू प्रोटेक्ट आवर चिल्ड्रन फ्रॉम मोबाइल एडिक्शन। टॉकर है मनीषा यादव।
Hello, dear listeners. Over the years, I have had the privilege of interacting with thousands of parents, teenagers, and even new mothers. In these conversations, I see two things very clearly: children's screen dependency and the worries of the parents. And it's surprising whether the child is 18 years old or 18 months old. The biggest parenting challenge today is the same: mobile addiction. Today, I'm not here to blame parents, not the children, and not even the technology. Technology is, of course, a tool. The real question is how we are using it. So, today, I want to share a few real life stories from my counseling experiences. Names are, of course, changed, but the situations are real. Because sometimes stories help us reflect and see our own homes more clearly. Before that, let me ask every parent listening a simple question. Every age of a child comes with miracles and challenges, right? But as parents, do you know everything about it? And especially, are we by default aware and equipped of handling and navigating through those challenges? Well, pause for a moment and think. So now you answer this question. Did our own parents know everything? Wasn't there always a gap between the generations, which is called generational gap? It's right. It is a generation gap. But earlier, the gap did not harm children as much as it can today. You know why? Because a few years ago, exposure was limited. Demands and expectations of child were different, and parenting meant how can we give more to our child? Better clothes, better toys, better opportunities. But today, parenting has a different challenge of what should we not give to our child? What should we protect our child from? So, understand it is not necessary that you know it all. You can take help of the experts, as I am here today. And what I want to do is want to bring your attention to very important thing that is part of our life nowadays, because today exposure is so high and very early, as every household has, be it rich or poor, they can afford smartphones and they have mobiles. So sometimes that one device quietly become the teacher, entertainer, babysitter, and in some homes even the parent. Yes, it's nothing to feel offended. Rather, take this moment as an opportunity to have a self reflection. And if you can relate to any of the stories that I'm going to share today, please check the early red flags and see if the solutions can be of any help at whatever stage you and your child are. Because it's never late. And jab jago, tab savera, right? So let me begin with first story. I met Raghav when he was 18, tall, polite, but deeply shaken. Well, his story didn't start at 18. It started when he was 8 years old. Back then, he loved cricket, topped his class, and many competitions in the school. When asked about his study routine and knowledge, his mother proudly would say he watches GK videos, and on phone he sees other sessions which answers he don't get from the parents, so he googles them. At 12, he discovered gaming in his dad's mobile. Now he would eagerly wait for his father to come home, but only for his mobile. The first red flag was ignored, and next one appeared when he stopped going out to play. But his father ignored that also, saying At least he is safe at home. Nowadays, it's not safe to play in the playgrounds. At 15, Raghav got his personal phone because all friends had one. Slowly, curiosity became escape. Addiction to different kind of game wins didn't allow him to focus on studies. By 17, nights became his days and studies suffered. Then came the day of his dream entrance exam. In the examination hall, he panicked. His brain which was used to quick dopamine hits from screens, it struggled to focus on long questions. He walked out and cried and cried. When he met his parents, you know what he said? He said, "Why didn't you stop me when I was doing so wrong? Mama, Papa, now everything is ruined." But the damage has already touched the career, confidence, and mental stability. We cannot undo the past, but of course, we can rebuild. So, this was the trust of his parents, and they discovered the symptoms and brought him to the counselor. Dear parents, if you also discover the symptoms in your child, please understand your child's brain needs detox, not the punishment, not lecture, but the structure. Raghav's parents were suggested few things which might help you also. The instructions were like no phone in the bedroom for 45 days. Parents also follow this rule. Fixed study hours with 10 minutes breaks with mobile submission. Daily 20 minutes walk with father, no mobile, only conversation. Rebuilding sleep cycle slowly from 2 a.m. to 1 a.m., then to 12 a.m., then 11 p.m. over the weeks. One weekly counseling session to relearn the focus. It was tough. Raghav would crave games so badly sometimes, but diverting his thoughts with presence of real friends and relatives helped him regain the confidence. 4 months later, Raghav walked in again, eyes steadier, mind calmer. He had cleared a mid-level competitive exam and regained the confidence he had lost. So sometimes 18 years old kids fall, but at least they understand, they regret, they take responsibility, they can rise again. At least we hope so. And like in this case, they blame the parents, and the parents also get panic. So it's better not to reach that stage, right? I'll tell you another story of the girl who started living inside the screen. Yes, you'll know. Anaya was 15. Her mother told, "Ma'am, she doesn't talk to us anymore." But again, the story started much earlier. At the age of 10, she got a tablet for online classes. At 12, she joined social media without parents' knowledge. At 13, she started comparing herself with influencers. She became more active on social media. Innocent reels, cute filters, and the perfect girl culture. Number of likes and followers became the parameter of her self-worth. She spent 3 hours editing one selfie. One day, her teacher noticed cuts on her hand. Remember, teacher noticed, not the parents here. During counseling, we discovered another shocking thing. Whenever her photos got fewer likes, she used to hurt herself and then post it because sympathy comments increased the likes. Her addiction was not to the phone, she was addicted to the world inside it. A world where she felt prettier, accepted, noticed. She got attention there. Her parents were working long hours, so the tab became her companion. The red flag, nobody monitored the apps she installed. The parental lock should have been the first thing while she was handed the tab. At the 14 age, she stopped eating meals with the family. She would say, "I have lot of work to do and study to finish," and hid in her room, scrolling. Her marks dropped, but her parents blamed today's education pressure. One day her mother told her to change the dress, saying, "It's not looking good for PTM." And Anaya said, "This is my most liked dress, mommy. You don't have any taste." Mother was startled, but her father laughed it off, teaming with Anaya. So Understand, we talk about blind faith in God, right? So for this generation, social media is the God. Parents felt helpless and disheartened, and I'm sure this is normal reaction, right? But to bring some relief, I must tell you, she wasn't addicted to the phone. She was addicted to the world inside it, where she felt prettier, funnier. What she actually needed was not the control. She needed connection. So build the same by following small steps like these, which were told to Anaya's parents also. Parents, you should spend 30 minutes of uninterrupted time with your child every day. Phones outside, all the phones outside, and then spend 30 minutes quality time every day. This will solve many problems. 21 days social media detox. If you see your child is getting addicted, apply this. If it is easy for you, then the addiction is prevented. Otherwise, motivate the child by telling that you will give them something they like, but give this challenge. After a few days, I met her and she said, I still use social media, ma'am, but I am not dependent on it anymore. So, dear parents who are listening today, if you recognize even one red flag from these stories, please don't panic. Awareness is the first step, and our purpose of today's talk is to spread the awareness only. And remember, something very important. Sometimes motivation works better than the punishment. For example, some families successfully try reward based detox. They tell the child, if we stay screen free for 10 days, we will give your favorite toy to you, or we will go to your favorite restaurant, or we will cook some favorite food of yours. If you manage 15 days without gaming, we will plan a zoo trip. These are the rewards which are temporary, but once child start enjoying real life again, he will not ask for the screen. And rewards are not needed for longer duration. Don't give birth to another addiction to manage first one. So just stay balanced. So balancing is the key. Let's move on to the next story of Vihan, who was 10 years old. His parents complained he throws tantrums when we take the phone away. But the story again started much earlier. You are seeing the symptoms much later. When he was 4, he was given the phone during the meals, so he would sit quietly. At age of 6, those 20 minutes started growing up to 2 hours. At 7, he stopped playing outside, but the mother would proudly say, my child is very calm, no mischief. They would go out of the restaurant, out for the dinners, and he will have the mobile. If the other child is running, the mother is saying, that child is naughty, my child is not. But calmness in a child who once laughed out loudly is not the calmness, it is the red flag. At 9, the teacher complained he doesn't concentrate in class and makes excuses to go home. You know what parents did? They blamed the school environment and changed the school. But complaints didn't change. You know why? Because it's the screen sickness which was calling him home, not the homesickness. Parents used to expose him to variety of content to keep him calm, unaware of the fact that this would take away his innocence and calmness. So one day an incident shook parents when Vihan pushed his younger sister away very hard as she wanted to watch different cartoon. She got hurt. She kept crying, and this is when it was startling. This is the sibling relationship we look at? No, right? So this red flag compelled parents to take action, and it was told to them it's not too late as child was 10 years old only. Parents, you must reduce screen time in front of him. You also don't use the mobile as much, is needed only use that much. At the end of it all, one thing becomes very clear. There is nothing wrong with our children.
अभी आप सुन रहे थे